Well, let's talk to James Head, Professor of Geological Sciences at Brown University in the United States. Good to see you again, James. Welcome back to the programme. So as we've just been hearing there, a very busy year in space, 2024. What in particular stood out for you?
Well, I think it's exciting. I mean, 2024 has been fantastic. I think leading that has been the return of samples by the Chang'e 6 mission, the Chinese Far Side lunar mission, which was spectacular. And we're now analyzing the samples, and it's incredibly exciting and changing our whole view of what the moon history has been. But there's so many other things. You know, I wake up every morning, and it's so exciting because there's a new discovery virtually every day. And we discovered things like, with James Webb Space Telescope, an asteroid belt around another star. The Europa Clipper was launched. There are 140 active NASA spacecrafts in orbit or around the solar system. So things are really happening, and it's incredibly exciting. It's going to be another year coming up that's going to be even more exciting.
Well, let's talk about that Chang'e mission by China to the dark side of the moon and some of the experiments, for example, seeing if rice can grow in space. Do you think this is perhaps laying the path for people beginning to perhaps live there?
Oh, absolutely. I think that, our destination is definitely off-planet, so to speak. We're explorers. China has historically been an exploring nation and country with early explorers, perhaps even in, discovering America and the early sailors and so on. And we all feel that way. It's in our genes. And so, yes, we're headed to the moon. We're working on that right now, and we're on to Mars. And we're looking at ways to build things, looking for shelter, looking for how you survive and how you explore and what the scientific goals and objectives are. So it's definitely internationally the goal for the future of humanity.
And new ground broken this year also in private space travel, space exploration. Do you think we're going to see more of that kind of thing?
I think absolutely. The SpaceX has done a remarkable job of, privatizing space exploration. That's the whole goal. Actually, NASA pays them to do that. It's a business. And in the United States, it's a little different than the Chinese space exploration program in the sense that NASA encourages and pays industry to develop the capability to fly these planetary missions. And so we're very excited about that because, it isn't always successful. It takes a while. There are bumps in the road. But indeed, once that happens, then, as with SpaceX, it's incredibly, phenomenally successful. And it cuts down on government spending and encourages the private enterprise, so to speak. So I think there's absolutely going to be more of that. And, I wouldn't mind spending a week in space myself.
Well, given how busy this year has been, you might suggest that we're in a sort of new era of space popularity, if you like. You were always very excited about space, but what are you most excited to see coming up next year?
Well, I think there's so many things. The thing about science is that we can make it sound very, very complicated, but it's very simple. It's just simply the exploration of the unknown. And that's what we're doing every day. I wake up every morning and there's something coming in, or there's something we just sent out there to look at something that, like, for example, next Wednesday, we have a flyby of Mercury by the European Space Agency Bepi Colombo spacecraft. It's just happening all the time. So there are many, many things. I think, China's upcoming asteroid mission, the United States Europa Clipper was launched, and we are having great developments in international interactions, a really important thing, international interactions. Space is so big that, you can't say, oh, I'm going to take this part and this part. No, we need all the help we can get in exploring space. And that's why so many countries, China and the United States, are pioneering leadership in this area to engage dozens and dozens of countries to be involved in space exploration. So it's going to be fantastic, and it will continue to be.
Professor, your enthusiasm is as infectious as always. Professor James Head there from Brown University, thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.